Hello, Lucas here again. So this is part 2 and I'm going to talk about the limitations of round robin and the different approach that I would choose for my application. So what are the limitations of round robin? It's not the best approach because it does not take into consideration server load, transaction time, network congestion. It just simply hands out the different IP addresses. It hands out a array list of IP addresses to your client, starting with the first in the list, and then it always swaps the first in the list. So does not check for its server failure. So if some server is failed, then it still hands out the IP address of that server. It could be improved upon that if you will have some real-time check on the servers that round robin will perform. It could also be unlucky that the traffic to one server is always the biggest web page. So for example, web page 3, and that server is always getting the server is getting request for that web page 3 that is the biggest. And that could be more congested than the rest of the servers, but in reality it will balance itself most of the time, because it could be unlucky like with 5 requests, but then it gets lucky with 5 requests, so on average it will balance itself. It is a simple, but it's not the most sophisticated. There is more advanced method for load balancing that I'm going to talk a little bit about now. It work best for services with a large number of uniform distributed connection to servers of equivalent capacity. So basically, if the servers are the hardware on the server is basically same, then the round robin works well with that. Example application that does not work with round robin, I would say that because it requires constant connection to one server, it could be an online banking application. Because each request will redirect to another server, and if you don't want that wouldn't be good for your application. So understanding of caching. What is caching? It's if a client requests a resource from a server, that server goes and checks first the memory. If that resource was in the memory, it has a cache hit and just pulls the resource from the memory. If it's not in the memory, it is cache miss, has to go and get it from a disk. So the first request, the difference between first and subsequent is that the first request, it's always cache miss, so it has to go and get the file from the memory. From the disk. If it's a subsequent request, it can just get it from the memory if it's cached in the memory. Also, client caching as well. It's in a browser. You can just keep the web pages cached in your browser. What it does, it speeds up the processing of requests, and then you have a happy clients if they get their pages faster. So, what approach would I choose as a different approach would I choose for my web page? That would be probably the least connections, which is that you have an array list associated with each server, and it would work well because I would assume that my ports or my servers are same hardware because it's on one computer. So what would I do then is just have an array list, and which one array list has the lowest number of connections, then I would just add connection to that array list, or redirect basically my client to that server. So thank you very much for attention. I hope you like it, and bye.